Hello again, this is Foghorn with another installment of Flight School Academics for this, let's see here, what is it, the 20th? Oh yeah, the 20th of August, 2952, or 2022 if you're stuck in the past. This presentation is part of an ongoing series of academics for the members of the Aurora Republic, the premier role-playing organization in Star Citizen. If you are new to the Aurora Republic or visiting for the first time, let me start by saying welcome. We are glad to have you with us. I'd love to hear more from you. If you're interested in hearing more from us, we're a lawful good organization focused on role-play exploration and social interaction, and are currently active in recruiting on Spectrum and Gilded. Tonight, we are going to be going over, very quickly, the use of ReShade, which one of our members was kind enough to go out and find out all about. So use of ReShade when we're playing Star Citizen to make things look a little prettier and to get a couple of useful functions out of. So first, it's a fairly quick install. We actually have kind of packaged everything up for you, so it's all on one-stop shopping. Basically what you're going to do is we have it on our Google Drive, all packaged up with some things. The current version of ReShade is 5.3.0, so every time Star Citizen updates and ReShade updates, you are going to have to make sure that you have the most current version of ReShade. This is whitelisted and by CIG. It is blessed by CIG to be used, so this is not any sort of a hack or anything like that. It's acknowledged, and like I said, it's blessed by them, so it is whitelisted by the Easy Anti-Cheat, so it should not block you for this. If it does, it probably means that there has been an update that you didn't get of ReShade, and you just need to go download the newest update, so that it will, of course, match with whatever they have whitelisted in the Easy Anti-Cheat. Okay, so I'm going to drop a link here in the Gilded chat where you can go onto our Google Drive and download the ReShade pack.zip and unzip it to your favorite location. Let me grab that link right now and go over here to Gilded and do a Control V there. Boink. There you go. Okay. So that's all taken care of as far as how to get to it. All right. The contents in that zip file is there will be 7 items. The ReShade _setup.5.3.0 exe is the executable. We wrote up a little ReShade install instructions in a rich text file with some pictures so that it's very easy to follow. And then there are 5 custom presets in there. Those are the 5.ini files, and we'll show you all where that's supposed to go here in just a second. So first, you need to navigate to where you unzipped the pack and select reshade.setup.5.3.0.exe, and then make sure you run it as administrator. That's important so that it gets installed properly, because you're going to be installing it into your Star Citizen directory. When it starts up, the installer, first thing it'll come up, it'll say select a game or application. It will not see Star Citizen natively, so you're going to have to come down here and hit the browse button at the bottom and then navigate yourself to your bin64 folder within your Star Citizen installation. So the default location, of course, is on your C drive, program files, Robert Space Industries, Star Citizen Live, bin64. You're going to be looking specifically for the starcitizen.exe executable, not the launcher. You got to go into the bin64 and select starcitizen.exe, okay, the executable, and then hit open at the bottom. It'll bring you back to this window that you were just at that said select game or application. Just make sure that the path that you just clicked open on is replicated here in this text line, and then hit, of course, next, and off you go to the races. Next thing it'll ask you to choose Star Citizen's renderer. It should default to DirectX 10, 11, and 12. So you don't need to do anything here except for just double check that it does automatically select the DirectX 10, 11, and 12. And then hit next, and you're off to the next thing. So next thing, it'll be asking for any presets you want to install. We're just going to hit skip because we're going to put in our own custom ones instead of the standard ones. And the next thing, it'll be asking for effect packages. What you want to do is just ensure that the 2 top boxes are selected. The standard effect should have a checkbox, and the Suite Effects by CJ.DK should have the black square. Just make sure it looks like that. It should default to that, so you shouldn't have to do anything other than check and make sure it's there, and not have to actually click on anything, and then hit next, and you're off to the next page. It'll then ask which of SuiteFX's files to install. They should all default to being selected. Just that's good enough. And off you go. So hit next on that, and you're done. That'll hit finish. Okay, so except that you're not quite finished, because we haven't moved the 5 custom presets that we pilfered from Red Lear's hard work. And you got to move those in. So basically that same directory, you in your Star Citizen directory /live/bin64 folder, you want to move those 5 INI files from the wherever you unzipped and drop them, copy or move, whichever it is, whichever you want, drop them into that bin64 folder, and that's all you need to do. It's just drop them in there, and they will now be ready to go when we actually open up the ReShade for the ReShade control panel for the first time. So the initial setup is you'll start your game. It will give you a little banner when you're seeing the Lumberyard screen. It'll give you a little banner in the upper left corner that says, hey, ReShade 5.3.0 is running. And then when you get to the main menu, if you hit home key, that will open up the ReShade overlay window, as you see here. And at the very top, there will be 5 or 6 little tabs. They say like home, add-ons, settings, statistics, log, and about. So like I said, the home key on your keyboard will open and close the overlay while you're playing Star Citizen. Then you want to hit settings. You only have to do this the first time when you open up. So hit settings, and you just basically need to set 2 keybinds. We suggest setting 2 keybinds. Home is already set as the overlay. I would go into the next one underneath, overlay key, and hit for the effect toggle key. This is turning whatever preset you have selected, turning it on and off whenever you want. And I would suggest using end. You can use whatever key you like. You can keybind it wherever. I would suggest end. It's a pretty good, decent spot. And the end key is not really being used for anything in Star Citizen at the moment. The other one is I would go down about 4 lines from where you selected end, and I would also select control end for the next preset key, which will allow you to rotary between the 5. It'll just click to the next. Every time you hit control end, it'll click to the next one, control end, click to the next one. And then it'll rotary. When it gets to the last one, it'll go back to the first if you hit control end again. If you go back to the home tab, after you get your 2 keys keybound, then if you click in the name field up at the top, that opens up the pull down, and you should see the 5 custom presets are in there. If they're not, then that means you didn't go back and drop those into the bin64 folder like the instructions told you. All of this is in the instruction rich text file that we included in the zip. So with pictures, it's all very easy, very picture driven. So you'd be able to do it. Whoa, goodness gracious, what happened there? Huh, I gotta. Whew. I just had I think I had a key stick. Okay. So for usage, obviously it's just really three buttons. Home if you need to open up the overlay and do something. And toggles on whatever current preset you have on and off. And then control end if you want a rotary, assuming that you used our suggested keybinds. So control end will rotary between the 5 presets and any other presets if you decide to add any other on your own. You can't break anything. So if you want to find other presets that you hear other people are using to get cool get cool effects on the graphics that you're looking at, then to each his own. So the 5 presets are as follows. The first one is called default preset, and it's your typical pretty reshade. It has HDR enabled, has a sharper contrast, much deeper color saturation. It has sort of that haze that Star Citizen seems to love and have everywhere, that haze removal. Mr. Hazgaha, if you're familiar with his use of Star Citizen as a screenshot creator, he uses this preset quite extensively. The second one is called Lyria Mining. This actually darkens the scene, reduces the brightness, sharpens the contrast, reduces color saturation in an attempt to reduce the eye blinding environments of like Lyria and Ariel when you're mining. So you can use that and it'll be a little bit easier to actually see what the hell you're doing instead of being blinded by the high brightness of those environments. The next one is called Night Vision. It's a sort of a pseudo NVG. It does give everything a green shade. It sharpens the contrast, but it's also very bloomy. Any light sources are going to have a lot of flare around them, sort of almost washing out sometimes. It does a very good impression of sort of first generation NVGs. If people are as old as I am to remember what first generation NVGs looked like around 1990. Then you have Night Vision Green Red Layer, which Red Layer made these last two specifically. The Night Vision Green Red Layer is just like the other one. It's also green. Mostly the green is a little toned down. It's a little more gray green. Still has that sharper contrast, but it's a lot less bloomy. You're not going to get as much lens flare from around any light source that you happen to be looking at when you have this one running. So it kind of looks sort of like Gen 2 or Gen 3 night vision goggles. And then the other one that Red Layer made is called Night Vision Gray. This is the one that I like to use. Night Vision Gray Red Layer also is a pseudo NVG. It's a gray scale and not green. It has that, again, it's also sharper contrast, less bloomy, and looks a lot more like modern NVGs, which have kind of lost that Glendale green and gone more to the grayscale. Okay. So very quick and dirty wrap up. My suggestion is once you, if you want to use this, there's nothing that says this is all just optional, just for your use and abuse. If you want to use it, nobody says you have to at all. So if you do want to use it, then once you get it installed, log in, go fly to a dark side of a moon or a planet, and get out and walk around and then fiddle with the 5 different customs presets, see what you like. If there's any that you don't like and you don't want to use, you can also go back into that bin 64 folder and just delete them, and they won't be in the rotary. So instead of having five presets you have to rotary through, you could turn that down to like 3 or 2. If you know, hey, I only like the default and the gray, then delete the other 3, and now your control N just toggling back and forth between the two. So what I've been using since we started playing with this a couple days ago, I've been using default preset for sort of normal ops, because it does kind of sharpen the image and make everything a little, not just prettier, but like I said, mostly it kind of gets rid of that sort of ambient like haze layer that seems to be on, sort of a little desaturation across the entire scene. And then if I'm in dark and I want a night vision kind of thing, then I've been using the Night Vision Gray Red Layer as what I've been using, and it works really great. Even if you're in such a dark environment that it doesn't really brighten up the dark spots, it gives good enough contrast against things like the night field in the sky. You'll be amazed at how many stars are actually being rendered, but you're not seeing on the screen because of the graphics rendering. That you go into Gray Red Layer and all of a sudden you look up at the side, you're like, oh my God, holy cow. I never realized there was that many stars being rendered to the screen, but in such a way that you can't see them. So things like approaching one of the orbital stations like Port Tressler, for example, or something, when it's on the dark side of the planet, going into the Night Vision Gray or Night Vision Green makes the star field pop so brightly that you can very easily see the station as the dark black. You can see the silhouette of the station as a dark black silhouette in amongst the stars, which makes it very easy to come in there and approach the station without fear of crashing into it at a bazillion miles an hour. So thank you very much. I will tap dance for a few seconds in case anybody has any questions.
Now supposed to send Gilded, do the INI files get put in bin 64 or in one of the subfolders in bin 64?
Nope, bin 64, none of the subfolders. Just put it in bin 64 right where your starcitizen.exe
right,
is.
With all the other stuff in there that already got extracted. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Any other questions? All righty. That wraps up this installment of Academics with Foghorn. Hope you found it interesting and helpful. If I have any questions that, or if you have any questions, I don't have any questions. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, please feel free to contact me via email, Gilded, of course, Spectrum, or the comment section below if you're watching this at a later date. I'll answer it as soon as I see it to the best of my ability. Member and visitors alike, please hit those follows and subscribe buttons as appropriate. Leave us a comment. We actually do read all the feedback and are always striving to improve our academics. We can find out more information about the Aurora Republic at our bespoke website, aurorarepublic.space, or of course on Spectrum at robertspaceindustries.com/org/aurora-rep. We will see you next time. This is Foghorn signing off, wishing a very pleasant remainder of your morning, afternoon, or evening, and thank you so very much for watching.